For the past few weeks, I've had the opportunity to work with this e-commerce brand that we have been scaling to roughly $400,000 every single month on average. I mean, just in the month of December alone, we were able to cross $300,000 in revenue. And if we now go back to the month of November, which was the biggest month ever for this brand, we did roughly $603,000. So if you take these 2 months, if you just kind of divide it up, the average is roughly $400,000 every single month. I mean, the months prior to that were not of a great level of success. However, they were still very, very profitable and multi-six figures. I mean, just the month of October, we did $236,000. But along with the numbers, I want to discuss the exact strategy a Shopify store like this and also a Shopify store you might be running can achieve single numbers. Because to be honest with you, this is one of the most simplest brands I have seen to date. And when I say simple, I'm talking about the overall landing page. It's a very basic landing page. It seems almost as if a fifth grader after school went home and very quickly just designed up and threw a bunch of things together. I mean, that's literally a perfect explanation of how this Shopify store's product pages and landing pages look like. Obviously, for security purposes, I cannot really reveal them. However, how can a brand like this that's so simple and so straightforward, and it's a clothing brand by the way, achieve such big numbers? Now, the success of this e-commerce brand boils down to three different things. Number one, the back end and the overall funnel. Number two, the ad strategy. And number three, the overall approach towards their customers. Let's start talking about the back end and the overall funnel. Now, while I can't really go over that same exact brand, I will go over another e-commerce brand, which is called coupleschoices.com, which has a very similar layout to the current brand that I'm referring to and that I'm currently handling Google Ads for under my Google Ads agency, Your Marketing, which if you're doing roughly $40,000 or more per month in revenue, you need a little bit of extra help scaling your brand to the next level. Go on to my website at yourmarketing.com and book a free call with me to see how we can possibly work together and make these kinds of numbers happen. But going on now to a product page on Couples Choices, we can see a very simple layout, very straightforward, even no kinds of custom theme pages, no kinds of customization in general, just a very simple section at the very top with this pop-up coming up with a timer at the very top talking about a certain sale coming to an end. And then this description right here, followed by reviews at the very end. It's the same exact layout as the brand that I'm working with, which is doing $400,000 almost every single month. But the beauty about this e-commerce brand, which I'm referring to, is that they focused on number one, the speed of the website. So right here with Couples Choices, if you can take a closer look, you'll be able to see that there's a little bit of a delay as I scroll down, mainly due to certain animations like this little add to cart button hovering right and left, and also certain images that are within the reviews causing the entire website to slow down a bit. Now, with the brand I'm working with at the moment, none of this is an issue because they hired one of the best developers out there to ensure their website speed is always on point, simply because they just get so many customers every single day, every single month. I mean, just looking at the total number of visitors for this last month alone, if we go on over to analytics and take a look at last month, we can see that the amount of visitors is insane for this e-commerce brand. So changing this time period to just the last month, not the last year. So changing it right here to last month. And if we click apply, we can see exactly what's going on. So in the total of 2022, they did roughly $3 million in total sales, and they got about $2.1 million in sessions. But if we look at how many people came onto the website in the month of December, we can see about 139,000. So that's a lot of visitors. You need to have good speed in order to support those visitors and in order to have a very decent conversion rate like this one. But that's essentially what's missing with Couples Choices. However, very similar layout, but this brings us to number two, which is the ad strategy. Now, because I only handle Google Ads for this e-commerce brand, I'm only going to be referring to the ad strategy on Google's end very deeply. However, they are not just relying on Google to get these sales. They're also heavily involved on Facebook. If we go on over to the ad library, there's a lot of things you will not be able to see here for security purposes. However, one thing I do want you to get from this is they're only running vertical videos for Facebook ads. So in essence, they're leaving out Facebook feeds and all sorts of those rectangular placements out of selection simply because they do not want to compete with the other brands out there, because the reality is there's just too many clothing brands to count on Facebook trying to make sales. So the way to stand out, which this brand took, is they decided to start only running vertical videos within Facebook. So this means only targeting Instagram story feeds, Facebook news feed, and Facebook stories, and so on and so forth. So only the vertical placements, no horizontal placements at all. And in addition, they're applying the same strategy on TikTok, using some of these creatives right over on TikTok to get the sales coming in. So Facebook and TikTok very heavily are contributing to a lot of the sales. But one problem this e-commerce brand had for the longest time, which was getting a decent amount of sales just through Google Ads. But ever since we started working with this e-commerce brand, which is about 2 to 3 months ago, that issue has been resolved, because now their sales have essentially started to go through the roof just from Google Ads alone. As you can see, almost within the past 2 to 3 months, a majority of the sales have come during this portion. And before this time period, we were actually not working with this e-commerce brand. So these results right here are directly derived from the store owner who was running ads by themselves. But the ad strategy we kept very simple. If you have not checked out my last video on how I talked about how we were doing about $13,000 in revenue every single month for another Shopify store, make sure to check that out. The link should be in the top right. And that's simply because I went over this same exact strategy that we are implementing with this e-commerce brand as well. So I've talked about this oftentimes. I always like to diversify my products and campaigns based on the phases the actual product is in. So no more of the KPIs based on the profit margin, based on the collection, because I have figured out just after doing so much in ad spend that the best way to go with diversification is to actually implement different campaigns based on the product's phases. And there's 3 different phases that we are taking each product through within this ad account. Phase number 1, the testing phase. Phase number 2, profitability. And phase number 3, scaling. So right here, this is sort of our testing campaign. As you can see, the results are not the best at 2.22x ROAS all time. And if we look at just the last 30 days alone, we can see that this is running at a 3.16x ROAS. So it's above our profitable levels. Again, it took a while for this testing campaign to really start getting us decent amount of results. But in the meantime, we also had other Performance Max campaigns running to kind of work alongside that main Performance Max campaign. Like this one right here, it's currently getting diversified by country. So this one is only targeting Canada right here. We have other search campaigns running to go along with the mix. And with this brand, I'm noticing that the search campaigns are really bringing in a majority of the results, as you can see. So a little bit of diversification in terms of the campaign types between search campaigns, shopping campaigns, and a mix of display campaigns as well. So as you can see, display campaigns getting results in the background, not the most profitable results, but again, this is necessary to feed data on the account level. So all of these campaign types coming in together with diversified countries, with diversification of the product phases themselves, is really what is helping us get these kinds of results from Google Ads alone for this e-commerce brand. I mean, in December alone, 80,000 was derived just from Google at a 7x ROAS. So we spent roughly $9,083 with our campaigns. But this brings us to the final phase as to how we are able to really scale e-commerce brands like these to such numbers, and that is the overall customer service. Now, I've kind of mentioned this before in some of my other videos, but the main difference that this e-commerce brand is really doing right is that they're offering 3 different things for free with every order. Now, these products right here, the top sold products, you can see that the cost of that they have been sold for is $0. And that's because this e-commerce store owner decided to offer a free product with every single order that they got through there. So as you can see, because of that, majority of these orders are for the free product. But the beauty about this free product is it's actually stickers with the brand's name on them. So essentially, all that this e-commerce brand is offering for free is stickers which just mention this Shopify store's name on them. So they can put these stickers on their shirts, they can put these stickers on their tables, wherever they want to. And this has 2 benefits. Number 1, obviously it's free, so it's definitely adding a lot of extra desire for people to buy more of the product. But also number 2, it's free brand awareness. I mean, just think about it. You put this sticker on your car, or you put this sticker on your shirt, and you go travel places. obviously whoever sees these stickers is gonna, number one, either ask you about what that sticker means, or number two, go on Google and type in what it says on that sticker, especially if they like that design or that style. And I think this is a really smart idea this e-commerce brand did to boost those sales, and we are getting a lot of sales that are not able to be tracked, essentially because a lot of these sales are just coming from word of mouth via these stickers. But the second thing this e-commerce brand is offering for free are certain sizers. So for example, this e-commerce brand also sells rings. So along with every ring, they're selling something called a free ring sizer, which means this ring sizer will help them kind of fit the ring on their fingers, or it will help them take the current dimensions of their fingers so they know what is the perfect ring to purchase, and so on and so forth, which is again very smart. But this does not end there. This e-commerce brand, what they do right is the customer service. I mean, they're going very heavy on email marketing. They're going very heavy on offering proper customer service to their customers via phone calls, via emails. They're fulfilling orders very quickly, and they have all their products in-house. So when you combine all of these three different things together, the perfect landing page with the perfect ad strategy, with the perfect after purchase service, this is what allows an e-commerce brand to run at this caliber, to run at this level, and do roughly $400,000 every single month. There is no fancy strategy in place. There is nothing crazy they're doing. It's just taking care of every single step of the funnel one at a time to make results like these happen. But again, if you're doing $40,000 or more per month in revenue, you need a little bit of extra help scaling your e-commerce brand to the next level. Go onto my website at yourmarketing.com and book a free call with me to see how we can possibly work together and make that happen. But watch any of these two videos to take your e-commerce brand's journey to the next level.